Rolling camera. Oh, shoot. Let me turn that. Rolling camera. Three, two, one. Rolling sound. Who are you?
My name is Thomas Gaddis. I am from Birmingham, Alabama, and I am the youngest of four children.
What was your childhood like? What were some important lessons you learned then that you carry with you today?
Huh. My childhood, I would say, was at the time a very typical middle class childhood. My mom was a VP for the bank. My dad is a police officer and a minister, so that was very interesting. We went to school, we went to church regularly. It was just a regular like childhood. I had a lot of friends. It was a very tight knit community, I would say. Everybody really knew everybody. It was just if something about it felt just awesome. And when I think back about it, like growing up in the South, like it brings up a lot of things. I grew up in the South, growing up in a very conservative place, I would say, uh, and with parents who had lived through a lot of what had happened with civil rights at the time, being that we were in Birmingham, it felt like everybody was kind of like painting the world with this beautiful brushstroke to make sure that we were all really experiencing what was beautiful about life. And so a lot of the lessons I think about race and like differences just based there on the color of your skin while we spoke about it, it wasn't the place that we solely rested at. And so I think that kind of it presented the world to me in a different way. Even today, I think I still think of that. So that's one of the things that stands out to me now as an adult.
How does a flower grow?
With love. I mean, of course, flowers need sunlight and water. You need the necessary things, but in order for a flower, let me say flourish, it needs love.
All right. Give me a random number between 1 and 100.
Ah, 83.
What would be your thought process if you were presented with irrefutable evidence that a God did not exist? What would you think if you were presented with irrefutable evidence that God did exist?
Hmm. I guess I'll start with part one. So the first part of that question, if irrefutable evidence that God did not exist. So I think my like what would that be? Like what would it be? How could you prove to me that God did not exist? And what that would mean to me, I don't know. As I think a lot of my perspective is that even if there was irrefutable evidence that God did not exist, we would still carry the essence and the idea of what that is inside each and every one of us and the people that you interact with. So, how do you eradicate that thought? How do you eradicate this belief? You can't. You can't. It's a part of just who we are, I think, as humans. Like, we want there to be something greater than what we are. So, whether that is whether it's God or it's the universe or it is just simply the nature within which we exist, there's still something greater than what we are. So, does it really matter? And then if I have irrefutable evidence that God exists, I think I'd have some questions. I think I would wonder, so like, why is the world the way it is? Is it solely because of the things that we've done? Is this punishment? Is there beauty somewhere in how we will escape the consequences of the decisions that we've made as humans? Like, how do we how do you view us? I think that would be my question. So if they said God is absolute evidence, why do you not show up to us in one like single way that we all understand? Why does it seem so varied? Because I think people again, see God as many different things. And just depending on how you grew up, what your experiences have been, you will interpret God through your own lens. So why not just show up in one way and be like, yep, that's that thing right there, that giant figure in the sky, this blob that floated down from the heavens. That's it. This is God. Why not?
Give me another random number between 1 and 100.
Ah, 25.
Would you ever take back someone who cheated? Why or why not?
I would. I would take back someone who cheated, and the reason why I say that I would is because I think that love is complicated. I think relationships themselves are complicated in that we process information in different ways. We feel different ways about ourselves, which then impact how we feel about other people. And so all of these emotions can just start to get kind of caught up, and people change. But that doesn't mean that they don't like you, that they don't love you, that they don't care about you, but we make mistakes, right? So if I can forgive myself, then I can forgive you as well, right? So why don't we at least talk about it? I think it would at least be worth another shot if it was that good to begin with. If it wasn't so great, then why? But if you really have a connection with someone, then why not?
All right. Give me one final number between 1 and 100.
68.
Where do you find meaning in your life?
Hmm. I think that I mostly find meaning in my life in the people who are around me. I because I believe that, again, the people who are around you, the people that you influence, the people that you interact with regularly are the people who hold you, who know you, and they bring something to your life that allows you, if you've done it right, if you've made good selections about the people whom you share your energy and your space and your time with, that they are contributing to your life in a meaningful way. Therefore, you have meaning, because if it wasn't for the people around us, then who would even know that we really existed? What would life be? Who's going to tell that story? Who are you?
How do you find meaning in your daily experience? What propels you through life?
Meaning in my daily experience and what propels me through life. I think I find meaning in my daily experience, and just that I attempt to take every day just as the day it is. I am still very much a planner. I like to anticipate, what's going to be coming, or what may have happened and how it's going to influence what's going to happen a few days from now. But I think I found that life life is lifing. People are peopling, and you just do the best you can with each and every day. And so again, you fill your life with people who help to define what life really is for you. And I think that's the most important thing. I think we can tend to get caught up in what everyone else is doing, or everyone else's life looks, and we forget that there are so many beautiful people around us. There are beautiful things. There are random text messages, emails, phone calls, letters, cards that really define what life is and make it worth living and give it meaning. And those things happen every single day. As far as God, what was it?
What propels you through life?
Ugh, that everything is always constantly changing. So no matter what is going on, it can always be better. There's there's always an opportunity for whatever it is that you are experiencing or going through. If it's terrible, it won't always be terrible. But those terrible moments really do help us to see that there's going to be better. We won't always be in this place. So there's that balance. And I think that's the thing that I think it's that's just it.
What has the experience of living been like for you to this point? What can people learn from your life?
The experience of living. What has my experience of living been? I would say that my experience of living has been, I think it's been complex. It's been the simplest and yet the most complex thing. If that makes any sense. I feel like I had a I feel like I had this typical like life of a child growing up in the 90s in the South. Like I have middle class family, like we went to church. Like I feel like it was just there. I also feel that because I've always been very different from the people around me, that the way that my world was painted, the lens to which I had a view was different. And I had to learn how to really not other myself, if that makes sense, and to find my own humanity in my difference and really accept it and understand and know that that was a thing that really helped me to show up and be the person that I am today. And I think that's what people can learn from me is that you just have to be you and you show up as yourself every single day and everything else will just fall into place. Regardless of what people say, regardless of how they act, regardless of how they treat you, you show up for you and everything else will fall into place.
What can people learn from your life?
Hmm. People learn from my life. No matter what, show up for yourself and show up for the people around you. No matter what. You love as hard and as deeply as you possibly can, and you do that without regret. You don't do anything for anyone that you anticipate them doing in return. Whatever you give, give freely. Because whatever it is that you need will come back to you. It always finds a way.
And here is the big question of the day, the reason we're here. Life is fleeting. We never know when it's our time. If these were your last words ever recorded, what would you want to say about your life and your legacy?
About my life and my legacy, if these are my last words, that I loved and I lived freely and I showed up as myself for myself every single day. And I did not live a life that made me regret any of the people that I chose to be in it ever.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate your time today.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it.
All right.